Welcome to our celebration in Zoom this year again. It's been a wild year, and we are going to try a few new things today. I am John McLean, President of the Retirees, and your host today. As you may have already noticed, we are not using the webinar format, so all participant images are available for browsing in the gallery.
I don't know how you get our picture up there, though.
Yeah, Stan and Lynn, try the mute, which is probably going to be the most important thing for the first half of our meeting, is use the speaker view so you can see who's speaking. It's important to stay muted because everyone is talking at the same time. It'll be chaos. Zoom needs to figure out who to put into the speakers window, the large window. At any time, you can go to the participants window and see a list of everyone attending today. You can use the chat window to send a private message to people, or to send a message to Ed Gorman or Roger Gibson for some technical help and advice.
I did that.
Ask questions of the speakers using the chat window.
But I still can't hear anything.
But we'll
There's got to be a mute button here. Sound here. There you go. Sound.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be the first thing people learn is where is the mute button. What else? So stay muted, speakers view, participants window, use the chat. Later in the program, we're going to go to a gallery view so that you can see the images and wander through everyone who's attending today, which is, we're up to about 38 people. Lastly, the Zoom event will be recorded and shared on our website so that the rest of our almost 1,000 members can view it at their convenience. We have a great agenda today. As usual, we're going to have some music. We started out with some PowerPoint music. We're going to have some holiday videos. We're going to announce the answers to a trivia quiz that was sent out in your invitation. We thought that would be something new to try out, get some conversation going, learn a little bit about the history of PGE as well as the holiday season. And we've also taken on the challenge of trying to do a drawing. So one of the reasons we asked you all to register was it gives us a list ahead of time of people who would be eligible, and we'll do a drawing. At the end of our event, we're going to allow extra time. We're going to stay on an extra half hour or so, and you can simply wander through the gallery view or the participants window, see some old friends, send them a private message, exchange some contact information, maybe set up a separate meeting. First, I would like to have a moment of silence to be thankful for what we have, to be charitable with our time, talent, and good fortune, to be hopeful for others who might be in need this season, and especially to honor the many retirees who are no longer with us. There's a long list of names on our memoriam page in our website at pgeretirees.org. Thank you. For my part in the program, we're going to call your attention to our PowerPoint slideshow that some of you saw. Most popular holiday celebrations, regardless of which holidays you may be celebrating each year, you are welcome here in our event in our retiree organization. 2 years ago, I was not looking for any big commitments and volunteer work. It would take me away from my retirement projects and adventures. I was especially not looking to be on a board of directors with the challenges faced by this organization. But then I met and got to work with a group of volunteers and committees on this retiree board. They are a caring and dedicated group of retirees who have become more than just volunteers. They have become friends and hopefully becoming close friends. So I invite you all to consider volunteering to this and other nonprofit organizations. My message to all retirees is that you have a great team of people who have a lot of fun working together to assure a bright and meaningful future for our organization. I wish all retirees, current employees, soon to be retired, families, friends, happy holiday season of good memories. As we approach the end of the year, I would like to remind us all that last year in 2020, PGE retirees generated a total of about $462,000 to nonprofit causes through the My Community website and matching fund program from PGE. Thank you to all, and please continue to support your favorite charities while there's still time this year. Finally, there are a couple of suggestions for conversation starters that came from a few board members that you might find useful to share with your family and friends at your holiday celebrations. For example, what do snowmen do when they're not feeling well? They take a chill pill. I can hear groans even though you're all muted. What do you call a snowman in July? A puddle. What do you call a snowman that can walk? A snowmobile. These are really good dad jokes, by the way. What do Dasher and Dancer, why do Dasher and Dancer love coffee? Because they're Santa's Starbucks.
Hit that.
Those will definitely start some conversations. Finally, a reminder to us all that a New Year's resolution is something that goes in one year and out the other. And now that I've got them all tuned up for you, I'd like to turn it over to the speaker's window to Greg Reif, who's been contributing his leader skills as vice president of our organization, as well as his technical skills on the communications committee. And he has the honorable mention for most well-dressed for today's event. So Greg, I'm turning it over to you.
Well, thanks, John. I appreciate that. And thanks for your jokes. Those are great. Welcome everyone to our annual holiday celebration. You know, although we can't meet in person, I am thankful that we have the technology that allows us to connect in this virtual environment. In fact, since I've been a member of this organization, we've had several meetings where people have called in from all around the world, from Mexico, from Switzerland. I even called in once from Maui, Hawaii. So it's there is some advantages to it. But that being said, hopefully next year we can meet in person again. That would be great. As John mentioned, we have a great event and fun event planned for today. With that said, I'd like to just thank the communications committee and the members of our celebration planning committee for all the work they did to make this possible. A lot of effort went into that. As a relatively new retiree, I'm honored to serve on this board. I've been very impressed with what the board has accomplished over the last couple of years, and I look forward to participating and contributing to this board's work in the years to come. And I would encourage you all to visit PGE's the PGEretiree.org website. It's got a lot of great information and news and a calendar of events. So definitely take a look at that. So with all that, I would like to wish all of you a happy, safe, and enjoyable holiday season. And back to you, John. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. And I must say that Greg is a great example of people volunteering and finding it just isn't an administrative task. It is a lot of fun, a lot of great people. I worked at PGE over 30 years, and yet I'm still meeting people from PGE I never met or worked with. And now I get a chance to work with them again. So next will be Terry Cleland. Terry and I go around and around because I keep saying Cleland. So again, I need more supervision. And Terry Cleland, she's been contributing her time and talent as one of the communications chairpersons, hosting educational webinars, leading the effort to start up special interest groups. Terry is just having a lot of fun here, and we are having a lot of fun having her. So Terry, take it away.
Well, thanks for that introduction, John. And I'm overwhelmed and overjoyed by how many people I recognize and seeing familiar faces and new ones. And I'm so excited that you're all joining the party. And I'd like to see more of you. And we being the Retirees Inc. have created a lot of fun and interesting opportunities for us to do that. We've worked hard to provide a lot of fun and interesting ways to stay active and connected with each other, and maybe just to get out more. But whatever your reason would be to join us, we strive to provide a variety of activities that everyone can enjoy and engage in. And right now, several groups meet regularly in person for breakfast, coffee, lunch, or just a chat, from St. Helens to Madras and places in between. And then once the weather allows, we'll have golf, more golf games, more bike rides, and some wine tasting opportunities that will resume. And then as COVID allows, we'll have local theater trips and in-person tours and in-person volunteering. They'll start back up again. But until then, as Greg mentioned, you're invited to Zoom in once a month to talk about traveling, get gardening tips, join a thought-provoking book discussion, or simply chat and catch up on what's new with other retirees. We do have a lot of fun when we're together, and you just never know who you're going to see at these get-togethers, both Zoom and in person. So be sure to check the website often, pgeretirees.org, for details and links to all these goings on in the activity calendar. But also, you can look and get details on the PGE Retiree Group events page on Facebook if you prefer to go in that direction. We're really hoping to expand the groups, the more the merrier, right? So join a group or just drop in anytime to say hello, or you're invited to start a group of your own. There's a tennis group in the offing, it sounds like. And the communications committee will help you, will help promote that for you. And as most of you, because you're here, likely know already, PGE retirees we have a lot to offer. The best part for me,
We got your back, Terry.
told me I would need this, is being part of an organization where we're all connected to each other in some way. PGE is our common denominator and binds us through our offices, our meetings, our lunchroom, or the storms. And over a lot of years in some cases. And we recognize the value in our relationships with each other and want to foster that by being here for each other, by providing information, offering a lot of ways to stay connected with the company and with each other. And I sincerely thank you for being part of this group and wish you a joyous, happy, and healthy holiday season. Thanks so much for being here. It means a lot to us all.
Oh, thank you, Terry. I'm giving an applause. Everybody's clapping. Yes, as you can tell, we have a group that is more than just a board and committees. We have true friendships going on, and they continue to grow as more people join us. Thank you, Terry. That was really nice. And Greg, too. I'm excited to have Ann Mercero and Dave Robertson with us today to share some holiday and greetings and updates. PGE does provide financial and other support for our organization, especially when we needed it most last year. And on behalf of all retirees, we thank you. If you have questions for Ann or Dave, please use the chat, stay muted, but use the chat feature to ask questions. Leanne Sneath and Terry Cleland will be monitoring and pass on a few of those. So if you'll unmute yourself, or Ed can unmute her, Ann and Dave, hello and welcome to our holiday celebration. Are you there, Ann?
I'm here.
Cool, thank you, Ann.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, too. Well, I want to start off, though. I already have the first question for you.
Wow.
It's hardball right away. Okay,
right away. What is a parent's favorite Christmas carol?
A quiet one.
Silent Night.
Yeah, thanks.
Got that right.
Think about that a little more.
All right, well, I'll turn it over to you two.
Okay. I think Dave is going to kick us off.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so good to see you guys. And Terry, I think about you, of course, all the time during EGC employee giving campaign, and we'll talk about that. I have like a 72 slide deck to show you guys. I hope that's okay. But no, we did throw a couple of pictures together and some other things just to show you what's going on. And I know you guys have a great newsletter that goes out. And so I won't go into too much detail on any of it because you may have already heard it and I don't want everybody to fall asleep right after eating their lunch. So it's great to see you all. I'm waiting for the gallery view later because I'm having to scroll across the top and check out all the little pictures. But I miss you guys a lot and think about you a lot on the job as we're kind of going through different things and just grateful for you and this season and really the chance to come and hang out with you is pretty awesome. So as you can tell, my hair is telling me I'm getting closer and closer to being a PG retiree, which is going to be pretty awesome as well. So Greg and John, if it's okay, I'll share my screen. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. You might have to let me do it.
Ed can turn you on to sharing.
Oh, hey, thanks, Ed. That'd be great.
Yeah, I try it, Dave. I think you're on.
Oh, yep, you got me. Super. All right. Can you guys see my screen now?
Not yet.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
There it is.
Yeah, we've got a little different. Oh, there it is. Okay. Little different system here in Microsoft Teams, which you guys probably run into as well in all your little Zoom calls in the world, and that is a little different than Zoom. So bear with me if I'm kind of messing up the screen. Hold on here. So let's get this slideshow going. Hold on, Terry. See, I'm starting with you, but I really am not. I'm coming to that later. All right, so we really want to talk to you just to show you a few things that are going on, and then I'll and Terry, if you guys would jump in and let me know if there are questions that come up. It's hard. I'm having two screens right here. I'm kind of doing the whole head on a swivel thing. Again, really great to be with you. It's been a big year. A lot is happening, just like all the years you guys were here. There's so many things going on, and you know, we're still in COVID, as you know, and dealing with that in the workplace and in work rules and how our teams are able to get together and work, whether you're talking about the office or the field. And so it's a challenging environment generally because of that, but also energy is a hot topic. We always thought so, right? Whenever we were working on this stuff, but even hotter as things kind of move along relative to climate change, and there are expectations that we need to do things differently. So that's been pretty fun. This first slide on the left, I wanted to talk to you a little about the legislature because, hey, that's my group stuff. So why don't I lead with that? The legislature this year was a huge year for energy. So in all those years, you were all providing inputs to us on different bills that were in Salem and what was going on down there. This year, I can't remember a year where you had so many energy bills get passed in one year. And part of that was due to the fact that, and I'll forward to a slide that shows a little more of that. Part of that was due to the fact that we had a couple of years where there's enough dysfunction at the legislature with Republicans walking out that there were a lot of bills that never got passed. And so this was a year where they stayed in all the way to the end and they got passed. And so lots of detail on this slide. Don't worry too much about it. The big one was 100% clean energy standard, 80% clean by 2030 and 100% by 2040. And I can talk about details on that because I'm sure you might have them. A big bill on transportation electrification passed. A big bill on low-income bill assistance passed. As you can imagine, with COVID and everything else, a lot of focus on the customers and how are they managing, and I'm going to move your pictures over here. Hold on. And how are they dealing with able to pay rent, as you see in the newspaper a lot, but also how they're paying their bills as well. So but did a lot of work on that, and we had some really good success. Added another $10 million to the Low Income Bill Assistance Fund. We set up some authority for the PUC to let us consider like a low income bill discount program. And so we're going to pursue that at the PUC. We're talking to them about that now and trying to get something in place for the winter season. But we'll see. I can answer questions if you guys have on that. And there's just a lot of other things that happened, even green energy products for cities, which is something that our bunch of our mayors really wanted. And so lots going on in that world. And then we also opened, I'm going to bounce around a little, but on this right top picture, we opened the Integrated Operations Center in Tualatin. And I'm not sure how much you guys know about the Integrated Operations Center. We're combining a number of things that we had in various places, mostly in the 3 building. So we had our security, our physical security systems, our cybersecurity systems, our power ops group, a bunch of our IT folks, a bunch of our grid operations folks, and the control center for system control is all in one place now. So the idea is we're going to operate this grid on the supply side with our plants, and on the sort of smarter and smarter grid side, and we're going to operate it all out of one center. And eventually we'll have 36 teams and 300 employees at that site. And so this is like the architect's rendering, because we were slapdashing this deck together, but we've got some good photos we can provide if you haven't already gotten them, John, for your newsletter. It's definitely as I don't know if you guys remember Dio Tama in the Power Ops group. He says, "Boy, this building sure got a lot of curb appeal." So it's pretty cool. It's got a helicopter pad. It's got all sorts of fancy stuff, and the big control boards. It looks a little more like I suppose NASA system control than our old system control. It's a kind of a hybrid, and it's pretty sweet. So that we can talk more about that. And then we also did this at Daimler down on Swan Island, where these trucks are in the center of the screen. We did this thing called Electric Island, and that used to be an old I think it was a Taco Bell or a Hot and Now, or when that was a restaurant. And we knocked that down, and we collaborated with Daimler to put in this heavy duty truck charging testing station. And it's open to TriMet, to electric school buses, and to truck drivers. And then just up to the left on this slide up the street a couple blocks is where Daimler has its international world headquarters for truck EV development. And so we're doing some pretty neat stuff there. This governor signing ceremony for that 100% clean bill you see on the left over there was at that site. And we just did we were doing tours for all sorts of elected officials who think it's pretty cool. On this side, one of the things that's interesting on our, you guys remember our green power program, we had the Renewable Development Fund, and those are grants that we could give out to, put solar panels on schools and on top of the new zoo expansion. So we have that fund, and that gives out about $1.5 million this year for those type of projects. And those are funds that when you're a green power customer of PGE, there's some extra funds built in that fund that. Well, we also have a couple extra funds now. We have an electric school bus fund. And in this year, we gave out about $1.5 million for new electric school buses to the school districts. And then we also have what's called the Drive Change Fund. And there's about, and I can tell you more about that if you want, but there's about $2.2 million we gave out this year, really trying to help a lot of nonprofits who are trying to put electric mobility into their systems. One of the examples like Ride Connection. Full disclosure, my mom's on the board of Ride Connection, but it basically provides, it's a kind of a TriMet last mile partner that provides rides to people who are elderly or disabled or need help getting to the doctor and the grocery store. And so we help them with charging, electric bus, electric cars to help get around. And so there's some pretty cool things happening. And then also this is a picture of the sub at Wheat Ridge. And the Wheat Ridge is a project, if you guys remember, it's a 300 megawatt wind farm plus a 30 megawatt battery array plus a 50 megawatt solar array all in one site out in Morrow County. And so the Morrow County folks are always, of course, happy to have more tax base. And I think this project, particularly out kind of east and a little south of Boardman, they're pretty excited about. And so the wind portion's been in operation most of this year. We own right now 100 megawatts of that 300, and then we have like a right to purchase the other 200 megawatts after a certain period of time, and the batteries and the solar too. So anyway, that's a pretty cool project that's going. The batteries and the solar are on construction now. And I just heard they may be running into some supply chain issues, which are hitting everybody out there on different, materials from steel to transformers and other things like that. So we're still talking to those guys. One of the things I wanted to hit on was our strategy. And as you think about, some of you guys who are recent retirees will recognize this because we've had it for a few years now, and we're just trying to continue to build it out. What does it mean? How do we get, for example, on electrification? We've got a pretty bold new plan that you guys will hear more about soon on electric vehicle transformation. And I think we've got 6 charging hubs out there now that I think Charlie worked on, and several of you guys on this call worked on, called Electric Avenues in Milwaukee, Hillsboro, Salem, right in front of the World Trade Center here. And we're proposing to do another 90 of those. And then when Ann and I were in the officer meeting earlier this week, our new-ish Chief Customer Officer, John McFarland, who happens to have worked for General Motors and is kind of a car guy, pretty excited and said, 90, we need to triple that. So we're thinking about how do we do these things and get ahead of it enough so that when the cars really start to turn over for all the manufacturers, how are we ahead of it? And Charlie kind of got us ahead of that curve with Nissan about 8 or 9 years ago, and now we're at a point where it's really coming at us, and a pretty exciting piece. So I just wanted to highlight that. And so we already talked about that. Last thing I want to talk about before turning it to Ann is the employee giving campaign. Thank you all so much for your contributions in the giving campaign. And how could I not talk about that, Terry? So I'm looking at your picture there, so I'm glad you're top of my screen. So we had a really good campaign this year, and I think you can imagine, all you guys imagine, if you're not in the office, your employee giving campaigners have to figure out how to hunt you down and get you to participate. And the participation rate this year was really good. I think we were at 55%, and we were really hoping, when Terry was here, we were hitting 60. I think we hit 62 one year. And compared to, it's just comparatively with other utilities and companies, it's just really outstanding. And that's employees, by the way. Our total this year, it was 1.8 million for employee contributions plus the match. Our participation rate in certain groups really went up, and so there was a lot of I think Steve Cox in our community shop did a good job kind of pitting officers against each other. I was pitted against Lisa Kaner, our general counsel, and whoever had the lowest participation had to wear a donut costume and pay for the Voodoo Donuts truck to come and do a donut day out in the plaza. So, and Ann had to wear a hamburger costume in her competition against the new CFO, Jim Magello. So lots of that fun stuff. We're still trying to do that, Terry, and keep it light, keep it fun. Appreciate you guys so much. And I think you alone contributed $350,000 as retirees, and your volunteer hours are really strong this year. I think that's even over 5,000 hours now. I saw a note on that earlier today. So really great job. And that's one of the things when Terry's talking about the network you have and the relationships you have, and that connection, I'm really grateful that I still have with all you guys who are participating in that and helping our community who is in so much in need these days, as they always have been. So with that, I'll I'll go ahead and turn it to Ann, unless I can pause for just a sec, Greg, if you want me to, for questions, or if you just want to roll right to Ann, we can do that.
Not seeing any questions in the chat, Dave.
Oh, cool. Super. All right. So let's, yeah, I already talked about that. All right, Ann. So I'll turn it to you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
So great to be with you all, and happy holidays. I hope this finds each of you and your family and loved ones doing well during this, I'll just say, challenging period, which kind of takes me to talking a little bit about how we've been navigating this period. So really working hard to put our people first so that we can continue to serve our community well. And what we've called, as we've moved through this time period, we call it the new normal or the next normal. And it's really about how do we think differently about our work and the way in which we accomplish things. And the pandemic really, accelerated that. And so we've put in place, actually at PGE, a hybrid approach to work that we haven't fully rolled out because we haven't gotten to a place on the other side of the pandemic where we've said it's all clear. We're in our hybrid work schedule, but we're starting to work toward that, and we continue to invest in our people. I was privileged enough this morning to go out to the Sherwood. For those of you that remember the pole yard out in Sherwood, which back in the day was like a long drive down the Sherwood Tualatin Highway. Well, if you've been down there lately, that whole stretch of the highway has just been built out, including, to Dave's point, the IOC, which opened officially yesterday. We had the flag raising there yesterday. We have Avery, which is a little further down the road, and then of course the contact center is still in the same place. But this morning we rose the flag on our new Sherwood training facility. So we don't even call it the pole yard any longer, because there literally is this huge training center that we've built in order to invest in the trades. And it's state-of-the-art, beautiful facility, and something that I think we all should be very, very proud of. And I would just encourage you to encourage your friends and neighbors and family members to think about a career in the trades. They're terrific jobs. They pay living wages. And we just have this incredible state-of-the-art training facility now. We always had this really awesome training program, but the facility itself was very lacking. If you made any trips out there and had to use some of or lack of facilities, that's all been taken care of. And it's just a wonderful testament to, to our commitment to building the workforce of the future. And we've continued to strengthen our leadership team and investing in their development. We've especially put a focus the last few years on our diversity, equity, and inclusion work, and are working hard to bring more women and BIPOC or people of color into our leadership ranks, and continuing to have more people of color coming into the organization. The apprenticeship committee worked really hard to rethink how they think about hiring people into the pre-apprenticeship program. And I'm really proud to report that our last hiring class was 40% people of color. So really reaching out into the community and bringing people into these programs and into the organization so that we more closely look like the community in which we serve. And then finally, we started up a program thanks to Kimberly Howard in Dave's area called Project Zero. And we did it both at PGE, but also with partners in our community on bringing opportunity youth, giving kids that maybe don't always have an opportunity or know the pathway into green jobs, and helping to create more mentorship and opportunities into organizations such as PGE, so that they can get a great running start on careers in clean energy. If you go to the next slide, you'll kind of see our guiding principles as we've moved through the last couple of years. First and foremost has been prioritizing the health and safety of our employees and our customers and our community. And that honestly it feels like it changes every week. Are we wearing masks? Are we not wearing masks? Are we going to start testing employees for COVID? Are we not? Are we uploading vax cards, et cetera? So we continue to take a very, I'll say, kind of middle of the road approach. Our teammates at PGE have a very wide and varied opinions about the issue, as you can probably appreciate. If you think about Oregonians in general, you know, they kind of represent the full spectrum of feelings about issues. And so we continue to really focus on what is OSHA asking us to do or telling us to do in order to keep our people safe. So we've been really staying in touch with and close to OSHA through all of this. Really focusing on how do we ensure continuity of service? How do we make sure that we're keeping the lights on and ensuring reliable service? Most importantly, during the pandemic, as you can appreciate, I'm sure, people have been at home more and are reliant upon their electricity to power their day-to-day. And so we've worked really hard to ensure continuity of service. I'm super proud of the people at PGE and how agile people have been doing their work differently. For example, we had a point in time where we were having people driving out to the job sites in their own rigs separately in order to just minimize the amount of time that people were in close quarters with each other. And then here at in the office type settings, asking people to work from home if at all possible in order to minimize the infection rate. And then focusing on our customers and our community in terms of how are we helping them navigate this. You know, a lot of people have been severely impacted economically through all this. So how can we provide support and compassion? And our customer service reps have just been amazing at navigating that with our customers. Next slide, please. I think we're 2 more slides forward. 1 more, please. Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, we're continuing to invest in our workforce and through a myriad of ways, including, you know, ensuring that our benefits are competitive. And you've probably heard the term the Great Resignation. And it's kind of a time, I think, in society where people are rethinking and renegotiating how they think about their work. And a lot of people are, you know, sort of thinking about changing jobs, et cetera. So we've been working really hard to ensure the retention of our employees. And so far, I'm just saying, knock on wood, we are still at the same, I'll say, turnover level that we had in 2019. We don't really use 2020 as a benchmark because it was such an odd year with the pandemic. Everything just sort of froze in place. We didn't do any hiring. People didn't leave their jobs. And so we looked to 2019 more as our benchmark year. And we looked to end the year at about the same turnover rate. People are coming to PGE, I think for different reasons, perhaps than they did in the past. So in the same way that people in this country are renegotiating or rethinking about where they work and their sense of purpose, we're finding that people are wanting to come to PGE because of our strategy, because of our culture, because of our values, the things that all of you participated in and helped to foster at PGE is really working to our advantage in attracting people into the organization. And we continue to focus on building our culture. We talk about 3 things: being customer-centric, purpose-driven, and results-oriented. And we're continuing to build that out. I know one of the questions that came up, I think from Greg, and I really appreciated the question, was what does the tenure look like of employees? Like what's the average tenure of employees at PGE? And I think you'd be interested to know that our average tenure is 10.6 years. And so we've seen it kind of come down a little bit every year for the last 10 years, which is probably in keeping with the regular, if you think about sort of corporate America, but compared to where we've been in the past, you know, that feels a little different. And we seem to have stabilized right at about that 10.6 years. A contributing factor of that was what we call the silver tsunami. So when people started retiring, when the economy picked up after the Great Recession in 2008 and 2009, we started seeing people retiring out of the workforce when they felt financially like it was a good time to do that. And so we are anticipating, similar to 2019, about 120 people retiring, and then that trend will continue. And we have quite a number of people that are eligible to retire, meaning 55 and 5 years, but the average age of our employees is starting to come down, and we're sitting at about 45 years old as our average age of our employees. So that's just some little fun facts, if you will, about, kind of where our employment stats sit. And again, I just say that I'm really proud of how people have risen to the challenge, continue to be focused on serving our community safely and affordably through this time period. And I think, we're really emerging out of this stronger and very dedicated and focused on that strategy. So I'll pause there and see if there are questions or comments.
The only question in the chat, Anne, is around the Wilsonville Training Center and what does that change how we use Clackamas community or with the new training facility?
Yeah, great question. It changes it a little bit. We're continuing to, we've maintained our lease with Clackamas Community College and continue to use that space, although we're not using it a lot right now because of COVID, but we're anticipating that as things pick back up again, we'll spend more time down there. But for, I'll say, technical training that we see in line operations, we will see that really shifting out to the Sherwood Training Center. You'll probably recall that we had sort of a mini pool yard at the Wilsonville campus there, and which was fine, but you really couldn't get a sense of scale like you were able to at the Sherwood Training Center. So the Sherwood Training Center is really more true to life, like what somebody would encounter on the job. So we're really shifting that training over to the Sherwood Center. Yes, Inga, I saw your question. And hi, Inga, nice to see you. We have apprenticeship in line, meter, and wire. And one of the areas that we're sort of talking about, we haven't said we're going to do an apprenticeship program because we don't have the volume yet, but what are the green jobs in the future look like with transportation, electrification? What will those jobs be? We've hired our first field employee to help serve the work that's going on at Daimler that Dave spoke about earlier. And I imagine as we get bigger and bigger into the transportation, electrification, or TE space, we will have a number of new jobs that emerge that will require different skill sets. So it's kind of an exciting time. And it's why I'm kind of pushing, like, tell your friends and neighbors, like, clean energy jobs are where it's at. Any other questions?
Well, I have a question for Dave.
Make it a hard one.
Okay.
Come on,
Dave,
John.
what does a gingerbread man use to make his bed?
I don't know, John. What does a gingerbread man use to make his bed?
Cookie sheets.
I thought you were going to test me on heat pump efficiency or something.
No. I was going to ask whether you and Ann had tried to take our trivia quiz.
No. Well, how do I get to that?
Well, we're about to move to that. So if there are no more questions, and we'll move on. But I really want to thank you two. I'm thrilled that you got dressed up for us with your wonderful sweaters.
Laser sweater.
Thank you. Mine is the Nakatomi Building, 1988 Christmas. The best Christmas movie ever was Die Hard, of course.
You got my vote on that, John, for sure. That and Lethal Weapon. That's another good Christmas movie. You guys check it out.
My name comes up a lot with that movie.
Yeah.
So again, I just want to thank you guys. I think that there are things I will follow up with you both on, in that maybe there's a role for retiree volunteers. If you want to talk about careers at PGE and the culture and a lot of those things, I'm sure you can pull together a panel of retirees that would love to talk about that. I can remember being involved in the first, the Green Power program in product development. I can remember all kinds of fun things that we started that you guys are just running with full force. So if you ever need volunteers, please ask and utilize us in any way that you see might be a benefit, or just showing up at an event when you want more people in the audience. So with that,
move on. There's another question for Dave.
Oh, good. Go for it.
How challenging will it be to get to 100% renewables by 2040?
Oh, Bill Ballack. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be really hard. I think the way we've got a pretty good waterfall chart on how to get year by year, how we're going to get to 2030. And it's 80% by 2030, 90% by 2035, and 100% by 2040. And I think on the 2030 slide, you're talking about things like coal strips going out of our mix after a certain, before that time. That brings us down. Then we've got a big RFP for renewables out on the street. That really makes a big difference. And then you got to run the gas plants differently. You got to run them as a firming resources for all these renewables you got, or you got to get and we're really, it's where you start to get into your 2040 question, Bill. You need some alternative fuel. You need hydrogen, or you need renewable natural gas or something like that. So those are resources, as you guys know, Mike Schwartz, the Schwartzes will know, capacity resources, right? You gotta have them when it's the hot days, the cold days, and the intermittent resources aren't working. And so that 2040 is that 100% is going to be really challenging cost wise, and also just technology wise, in terms of how those technologies are going to develop, and are they going to be ready when we get past that 2030 date. I think we felt pretty confident about 2030, and the more we dig into it, we're feeling pretty good about it. But the 2040 date, you do a little like crossing fingers and toes, and we know there's just a lot of work that's going to have to happen. So that's what we've said is going to be the toughest challenge. And I think we're consistent with PacifiCorp and everybody else. We need some technologies to develop. I did talk to Brad Jenkins yesterday. We're talking about the thermals, and he was saying that Mitsubishi's going to have a full hydrogen turbine that can run with an on-site hydrogen reformer or electrolysis unit by 2025. They're already out testing it, and they've been testing blending already in gas units, and can blend up to 30% hydrogen now, and without a whole bunch of modifications. So like the Cardi facility, pretty quickly you're going to be able to get another bump down in your CO2 emissions from those plants. So lots of things going. Some are pretty interesting. And, when I talk to the environmentalists and legislators and everybody else, I tell them, our future includes our gas plants. We know we got to run them differently, but we've got to have capacity resources to make it work. And so anyway, that's kind of the way we've been thinking about it, Bill. I hope that helps.
Thanks, Dave. Another question for Anne. How are we helping employees attain the skills they need for these new jobs?
Great question. There's a couple of different ways in which we're thinking about that. One is on the job training. There's not a lot of people that are skilled out there in the kind of new technology. So we recognize that we're going to have to do the training ourselves, or create partnerships like with PCC, the community colleges, to help us skill people up. Another thing that we just put in place last year that I'm pretty excited about is we partnered with LinkedIn Learning. And this is more on, I call them essential skills. You might know them by the term soft skills, but we partnered with LinkedIn Learning and created licenses for every employee at PGE so that they could tap into this massive library of learning that LinkedIn offers. And it's paired with our HRIS system, which is Workday. So employees can easily go from their, I'll say their payroll record, if you will, their file in our system, and launch into LinkedIn and do just about any kind of training that you can imagine under the sun. less the more technical training, which we'll need to do more hands-on. That's why this training center that we just built out in Sherwood is so critical, because that will be a really important place along with Clackamas Community College for us to do more hands-on training.
Thank you, Ann and Dave. I'm going to move us along because I know you guys have to leave at about 1 o'clock or so, and I want you to hear all the trivia questions and answers. Thank you, Leanne, for helping us monitor the questions.
Sure.
And so now I want to turn it over to Stan Chiotti and Terry Judkins, two of our past presidents, who will share the answers to trivia questionnaire that was sent to retirees about a week ago. And for Ann and Dave, I'll make sure that Leanne or one of us sends you a list of those questions, because it really does test your history knowledge of PGE as well as the holiday season. So with that, Terry and Stan, take it away.
Well, okay. We've got some questions here that came out, and we'll read the question and then let you think about it for just a moment, and then we'll give you the answer. What do the names Donner and Blitzen mean in English? The choices are high and swift, hooves and tails, thunder and lightning, or all of the above. Think about that a moment, and what would you say? It is thunder and lightning. That's what Donner and Blitzen mean. So as you see them go over your house, well, you can hear them now. You just don't see them.
Okay, the next one would be, where is the Donner and Blitzen River? Is it in Stearns Mountain? Steens Mountain, excuse me. Northern Germany, Eastern Norway, or all of the above? And as John can tell you, it's in the Steens Mountain because he fishes there.
All right. Saint Nicholas was a 4th century bishop in what is now what country? Is it Germany? Is it Italy? Is it Greece, Turkey, or all of the above? Nicholas. Well, it's not Germany, and it's not Italy, and it's not all of the above, but it is Turkey.
Ingrid, that one right.
On what day does the winter solstice fall?
Solstice.
I'm sorry. December 21st, December 22nd, June 20th, June 21st, or all of the above. And because of northern and southern hemispheres, it's all of the above.
All right. Now we come to PGE. Where is Timothy, excuse me, where is Timothy Meadows? Is it at the headquarters of the Clackamas River, or is it under Timothy Lake? Or is it in the area on the Pacific Crest Trail near Little Crater Lake? Or maybe it's in the high mountain meadows that feed waters into the Willamette River at Oregon City. And as you think about those, or all of the above, and it happens to be all of the above. If you ever seen Timothy Lake, now that's something to think about. There's a under the lake, at the side of the lake, and around the lake.
And this one here will be for most of you old timers. What is the PRL and P? Is it the Portland Railroad Light and Power Company, a regional conglomerate of several companies, including PGE, a merger of PGE, Portland Railroad Company, and the Oregon Water Power and Railroad Company, initiated by East Coast investors? Or is it all three of those? And as one would probably figure, it's all three of those.
All right. When and where did PGE start to sell electrical appliances to its customers? Some of you worked in around this area. You should have a kind of an idea. It says here in the early 1900s from the electric store in the electric building on 6th Avenue, or is it in the 1940s as a part of the electrification initiative to Oregon rural areas, or in the 1960s as part of a Good Sense program for PGE customers? Or there we go again, all of the above. Well, since some of you worked in the building, you know, you should probably have an idea what happened there. It was that A, in the early 1900s from the electric store in the electric building on the 6th and at 6th and Alder. And the building's still there, by the way.
What was the first electric, oh, excuse me.
That's all right, you're good.
What was the first electric appliance PGE sold to its customers? Was it the famous toaster, a washing machine, an iron, or the good old proverbial vacuum cleaner? And the answer is a good old iron.
You know, I got an iron story. This happened to me a long time ago. I was a person that wanted to get things people would use for holidays. And so I thought I would get my wife a very nice present for Christmas. So for Christmas, I went out and I purchased her a very nice iron. It was a beautiful thing. And I was very proud of that iron. I wrapped that box up so neat and so nice, and I had a bow on the top, and I put it under her Christmas tree. And so it come the Christmas Eve when we were going to open the presents, and oh, I was so excited that she was going to get this present. She got the present, and she took the wrappers off and opened it up, and there was the iron. Well, I think she thought it was a pretty nice iron, but her mother didn't. You don't get things like that for Christmas, you know. You get real. So we've had an iron exciting time all the days of our marriage here, and it's been good. But we don't have the iron anymore. We got rid of the iron, so we're back to using the old one you heat on the stove now. So not really, just kidding. All right. PG had a weekly TV show. What was it? And when? Was it called the Ready Kilowatt Show in the 1960s? Or How To with Pete in the 1970s? Or Save More Now with Larry the Light Bulb in the 1980s? Or was it all of the above? Anybody raising their hand? Nobody raising their hand. Okay. It happened to be B. How To with Pete in the 1970s.
In addition to Larry the Light Bulb, what other spokespersons were used in PGE promotions? A, Mr. Watt Watcher. B, Captain Efficiency. C, Reddy Kilowatt, or D, Frank Zappa, or all of the above?
And Stan says, who's Frank Zappa?
Frank Zappa. Surprisingly, it's E, all of the above.
Well, I hope you
Bonus
got them all
question.
right. We got a couple of bonus questions down here, and one of them is, what was the first hydro plant PGE built on the Clackamas River? Was it River Mill below Estacada? Was it Bull Run over Mount Sandy? Or was it Fairday above Estacada? Or was it Oak Grove way above Estacada? I hope your guess was Fairday, also named Casadera.
And just speaking of Casadera, just a mere 53 years ago, I read meters there. And they had a one lane bridge across the river that you had to go across to read the power meter. And that was the only bridge that had no guardrails, no sidings, no nothing. And so in the winter, you didn't dare drive your PGE truck across, or it would be in the drink. So that was a fun experience back in the early in the 60s. So then the final question we have is, when did the Faraday Dam go into operation? Was it 1907, 1911, 1912, or 1924? And for you really, really old timers, it was 1907. So I think we've eliminated everybody on the screen. That's it for questions.
Thank you, Terry and Stan. I think that was an interesting list put together by the communications team and others. We may try that again in the future. Perhaps it'll get used at a staff meeting or two, who knows? So next, it's been 1 hour, and my training is after 1 hour, we usually need to take a quick break, and I'll play just a quick video. You can refresh your coffee, visit the restroom, and come right back, because we'll do the drawing. And then we'll do the meet and greet portion of our Zoom meeting. So I'll see you all in about 5 minutes. Well, we're back, all nice and refreshed. And we're going to try something else new on Zoom. Ed Gorman and Judy Francis are going to lead us through a drawing for prizes.
Why doesn't every home in the U.S. have solar panels? The number one reason is not.
Sorry, little technical difficulties there. We thought we'd use the registration feature this year, which gives us a list of participants. So I'm going to turn it over to Ed and, oh, Judy, that is just beautiful. Or is it Roger? Is it Roger? Did I misspoke? All right.
It's a three-headed monster, John.
Yes.
Go ahead, Raj.
So Ed, okay, so are you going to show the random generator first, or would you like me to start off with the first one? Okay, I'll start off and then Ed's going to follow up here. So we're going to do a drawing. We have 15 prizes today, which is quite a few. So this is great. So our first giveaway is going to be a PGE 10-ounce camp mug for hot or cold beverages. And that's it right there. And Ed is going to do we have an Excel automatic generator for who the winner is going to be.
Okay, so we've got everybody who registered in a column, and they're numbered as in the order they registered. And going to hit the magic key here. And number 20 is the randomly selected number, and that's Janet Call.
Woo! Okay, that sounds great. So, Janet, what we are asking every winner to do is to the private chat window. Could you please send your mailing address to Judy Francis via the private chat window, and then we will mail you your gift. And that's going to be the same process for every winner.
And if
I
you
hope
don't
that
mail,
makes-
if you don't mail me your address, I get to keep the prize.
Or we'll track you down. Okay, our next prize is a Visa $15 gift card with an antler headband.
Oops. And the winner is number 30, Jackie Walters.
Woo! Hey, Jackie.
Congratulations.
You'll look beautiful in them.
It'll fit with all of Jackie's decorations too. I hear that she has a really highly decorated home for Christmas. Our third prize is a $25 gift certificate to the Fork and Spoon Food House.
And winner is Jack Wojnowski.
All right, Jack and Ruth.
And I hope I got that last name correct.
Wojnowski, I think it's probably close. So just a quick reminder, the private chat window, please chat Judy Francis your mailing address so we can get these prizes to you. Perfect. Prize number 4 is a genuine Portland, Oregon PGE umbrella.
Oops.
You all need one of those for sure.
Winner is 47, Tom Burkham.
Nice. And we kind of missed all the applause, like when we all met in person for the holiday parties, you got to hear everybody clap. So it's a little bit less festive, I guess, this way with everybody muted. Okay, prize number 5 is a PGE 22 ounce or an Oregon kind of energy thermos.
Number 1, the first registrant, Sue Oliver.
Ooh.
Congratulations, Sue. Nice. Okay, prize number 6 is another Visa $15 gift card with those famous antler headbands that you can wear.
Number 2 is Lou Chapman. I'm not sure if Lou is here. If you're not here, you can't take it home. She's not in the participants window. So let's we'll make
Okay.
another choice.
Let's make another choice.
43, Inga Winters.
Whoa, Inga.
Right. Nice job. Okay, number 7, almost halfway done. We have another PGE 10 ounce hot cold camp mug. Now, did you use that last night, Judy, for your eggnog?
My hot toddy?
Yeah.
No, it was tempting, but I didn't.
Okay, great.
Angie
And the winner
Curtis,
is?
Angie Curtis isn't here, so we're going to go Matt Richard. Is Matt here? I'm looking in the participants. Yes, he is.
All right. Sweet. And prize number 8 is another 22 ounce Oregon kind of energy thermos.
Hot up to 24 hours.
Nice.
Lauren Isaac. And Lauren's in the, she's here.
Yep, she's there. Perfect. Okay. Prize number 9 is our final 10 ounce cap mug with the famous PGE logo on it.
24, Charlotte Williams is, not sure I saw Charlotte was here.
Let's see, I'll help you look.
Nope. Okay. Snooze, you lose.
Or I win.
Go to 25, Kathy Davies.
Woo!
Kathy's here. Yay, Kathy. All right, our 10th prize is a Visa $20 gift card.
20. You got 20?
Yep, that's 20.
Tony Jin.
And Tony's here. Okay. Number 11 is a 22-ounce Project Zero thermos. I think you all believe you all heard Ann mention the Project Zero. The PG had.
21, Bill Valek.
Oh, Bill.
Nice. We should unmute him so he can sing a tune for us.
Yeah.
Number 12, we have a PG Portland Parks Foundation Paseo tote and bandana. Paseo, I guess.
And Mike Schwartz is a lucky winner. Oops.
Nice. And he is here too. Sorry, Mike, you can't share that with Barb. That's all yours. And lucky number 13 is a Visa $15 gift card. And of course, we have Antler bobbleheads with it.
Number 30. Oh, Jackie, you can't be a two-time winner, Jackie.
She says, why not?
Yeah.
Mark Osborne, is he here? Not sure I saw his name.
Let's see. Yes, he's here.
All
I see
right.
him. Great. Nice. Okay, there's two more left. Number 14 is a PG 22-ounce sustainability and innovation thermos. Again, as Judy said, keep your hot liquids for 24 hours.
And that goes to Mark Whitney.
Nice. Mark is here.
And thank
Good
you
to
to
see you, Mark.
PGE Public Policy for all of these donated gifts.
All right.
Drum roll.
Drum roll for number 15. It is a Visa $25 gift card. And the lucky winner is.
Oh, Ed's not here.
Oh,
I have to tell him what he missed. I think Joe Sunderland's here. I saw that name.
He is. Let's see if he's still on. I do not see Joe. Let me go
No,
through
I
it
think
again.
All right, well,
He was here. Hold, let me go through again.
no, I didn't see him either. He was here earlier. So we're going to go with another winner,
Okay.
who was Jackie. Boy, Jackie, it's your lucky day. Let's go to Barb. Oh, the Schwartzes.
Is that legal? Same family winning twice? I guess so. That's fine. Congratulations, guys. Nice. So if you haven't already, if you're a winner, please chat your mailing address to Judy Francis. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Roger, Judy, and Ed. That was well done. That was
thank
the
you.
first time ever that we've tried to do something like that, and it turned out pretty good. So what we're going to do now is you can turn on your gallery view, and that lets you see everyone, and you can page through everybody who's here. I would still stay muted since there are 41 people, and if they all try to talk, that'll be a little messy. But you can see the names, use the chat window to send them a private message, say hi, wander around, and we'll leave Zoom on for about half an hour or so that you can see each other and send messages. I really want to thank everyone who helped make this happen today. It's a long list. You've seen and heard most of the names. Carol Maresh also joined our communications team. Kimberly Hamling is on our communications team. Jan Gilbert jumped in. All the people you've already heard today. Bill Valek, as always, gives us good music advice. Like have more music. That's Bill's message. Listen to more music. Show up at his gigs. Bill Valek, what you're on Facebook, right? So 2-Bit Brothers is a popular PGE group. Bill and Dwayne Wistoff. So have some holiday cheer at one of their events coming up. I'm happy that Bill's here. I thought you guys had a gig today, but thanks for joining us, Bill.
I just unmuted myself. Thank you for having us, John. Great event. And our gig's not till later tonight. So it was great to be on.
All right. Well, thank you a lot. Hopefully you all, I was really pleased with Ann and Dave today. I think we have a lot of support still at PGE, and we're going to continue to build bridges to them. And as we say, have a mutual advocacy of each other. We advocate them, they advocate for us. I know there's been a lot of medical benefit questions running around. My perception is last year that the response times from VIA and others were probably 6 weeks, 5 weeks. Now they're down to 3 weeks, maybe even 2 weeks. So things are getting better. It's a messy, messy world out there. And I know Leanne Sneath and Ann and others work really hard to advocate on our part by having VIA really get some things straightened out on the website, et cetera. So I really appreciate Leanne Sneath. I think a lot of you would join me in saying that. She's been just wonderful being the liaison to PGE. And we're getting better and better at working on that end. So with that, I will say, see you later. Stay on, visit with some friends, and I'll just play some music in the background for the next half hour or so. Greg, any parting words?
Just had to get myself off mute. No, not a whole lot to say. I thought this program was great. Thank you everyone for what you did. The trivia questions are great. John, your jokes were good. But I think I really appreciate PGE. I'm stepping in and updating us. It was really interesting to me to hear some of the updates going on with the company that we all worked for so long. So happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. And I want to do a send-off here because I know Stan worked really hard on a politically correct story. So Stan, why don't you unmute and send us off with a little holiday humor.
Well, as you well know, for the 3 years I was president and a couple years before that, Terry Jetkins, we always had some really groaner jokes. So because of PC, we really had to cut way back. So this is the best I can do. A man is driving down a road when he runs over a bunny. He slams on his brakes, gets out and walks up to the flattened bunny. The bunny is obviously expired. A passing car slams on its brakes and screeches to a halt. The driver of that car runs up to the bunny, pulls out an aerosol can and sprays the bunny with the aerosol spray. The bunny jumps up and runs a few feet, then stops, turns around and waves its paw at the two men. Runs away a few more feet, stops, turns around and waves at the two men. Runs away a few more feet, stops, turns around and waves at the two men. He continues to do this until he runs out of sight. The first driver looks at the man with the aerosol can and says, "Wow, that is amazing. What is in that can?" The man looks at the can and reads the label, "Hair Restore with a permanent wave."
Groan.
Now you know
Groan,
why
groan,
Terry and
groan,
I are
groan.
not normally welcome back too often.
That was, you did some good homework there, Stan. Thank you very, very, very much.
Hey, John,
right.
let me snick one in there.
Okay, Terry.
Here we go.
All right. There was a man sitting on the edge of his bed watching his wife, who was looking at herself in a mirror. Since her birthday was not far off, he asked her what gift she would like, and she said, I'd like to be 8 again. In the morning of her birthday, he rose early, made a nice big bowl of Cocoa Pops, and then he took her on an Adventure World theme park. What a day! He put her on every ride in the park, death slide, wall of fear, screaming roller coasters, everything that was there. 5 hours later, they staggered out of the theme park, and her head was reeling and her stomach felt upside down. He then took her to McDonald's, where he ordered a Happy Meal and extra fries and a chocolate shake. Then he took her off to the movie with popcorn and soda pop and her favorite candy, M&Ms. What a fabulous adventure. Finally, she wobbled home with her husband and collapsed into bed and exhausted. He leaned over to his wife with a big smile and lovingly asked, well, dear, what was it like being 8 again? Her eyes slowly opened and her expression suddenly changed. I meant my dress size, you knucklehead.
Good.
Okay.
That was, those were okay. Talk to you later, everybody.